Mission to the Moon, Snoopy edition. Dirt, plastic, loosely in my hand. 10 meters, and I think water has entered. So this is the Omega Swatch collab, Mission to the Moon, Snoopy edition, Snoopy moon phase, and we're gonna put it through the test. When I bought it, it doesn't line up. So when we start that timer, we're going to stop it and then reset. It doesn't reset all the way to the 12. That's just what it is. See if we can get the moon phase out here. And there's your Snoopy on the moon. So let's get on with the test. Okay, this one is going to hurt because I've actually come to like this watch, like many other people. We're going to do it case side down first and see how it does. About I'd say 4.5 feet from this view. Hopefully we can get a good shot of it actually hitting the ground. All right, 3, 2, 1. We'll do it twice. Oh, and the battery's out. Okay, so battery cap came completely off. Okay, but it snaps back in. So we're gonna keep going. Ground side down, hopefully it survives. Okay, so officially damaged the crystal, but just barely. I mean, oh, I didn't even realize this. If I put my nail on here, it almost feels like almost feels rubbery. Very interesting. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Well, that's why it feels rubbery. Seems I need to take better care in preparing my watches for the test. That's why it feels rubbery, and it still did not protect it. I mean, there's less of a chip now, but that makes a lot more sense. 3, 2, 1, around 4.5 feet. Okay, doesn't seem like there was too much damage, just a little tiny chip right there. Still running. Yep. Stopper still works. Yep. Alright, I'll say it's pretty I mean, maybe it's stopping a little shy of that 55 where it used to. I have to go back in the footage, but it seems like everything is doing pretty well. So 4.5 feet on concrete, multiple angles, K-side, crown. Probably I'm going to say because it's so light, there's not a lot of force there when it hits the ground. And again, this is concrete, so I think this did pretty well. We'll do the mud test. There, it's tested. I think it passed. I don't want to do this. It's so clean and nice. And now it's not. Okay. There we go. Flip it over. Get the back side. Alright. I think that's pretty good. I think we've got it pretty dirty. See, that Velcro's really sticking to all that dirt. Let's wash it off a little. Seems like it kind of... No, I mean, well, it is washing off pretty well, I have to say. I mean, it's not like it sat there for too long, but there's kind of like a plastic coating on the outside of this band, so I think that's why it's washing off pretty well. And let's see how it does. It is still ticking, which is always a good sign. The buttons still work, so there's not enough grit that got in there that made this stop working, lining up where it used to. And we're doing a little risky move, opening the crown when my hands are still wet and dirty, but it's still working. We're doing the band test. It's still running. This one, I bet, most like all of them, the spring bars are their weakest point. It kind of is a pointless test with spring bars because it doesn't really get to test the band itself, but I'll try to pull on this separately once it snaps off, because I'm pretty sure this is going to snap off. So here we go. Yep, popped right off. Now this shorter end, I don't think I'll be able to. If I actually pull this through and use it as leverage, I could. And snapped right off. And again, that's to be expected with spring bars. Now I'm going to actually test the band itself. There's no way I'm ripping this thing. It's basically plastic and nylon. Oh. Yeah, there's no way that's coming off. I mean, any kind of NATO band, it's usually going to be the most durable. The metal bracelets are pretty durable, but you can usually snap them. Yeah, there's nothing happening. Even, I gotta say, this spring bar is not that bent either. I don't know if you could see that, but it's not that bent. And this little plastic doohickey, I don't think that's gonna come off. Maybe I could snap it off, but I mean, obviously I could use my knife and I could probably cut this, but now we're being a little unrealistic. You know, we're trying to be realistic with our tests here. Oh, someone's not going to understand that's a joke. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to even take off this plastic loop. And it's pretty well stitched together as well. And I got to say, I mean, when it comes to these kind of cloth NATO bands, I'm calling it NATO style. I mean, they do a good job. They do a good job. Okay, so now it's the scratch test. And there's already a couple scratches, probably from the dirt, and then that little piece right there, that was from the drop test. But I just have a little rock, and we're just going to do very light pressure, just kind of like this. Really just kind of letting the rock, pebble, do all the damage in terms of weight, and it's scratching the absolute heck out of this. I mean, again, I'm not putting any pressure. I mean, it's loosely in my hand, and I'm just running this along. And you can see, I hope you can. It's just scratch this thing totally, and if we wipe it away, it is still scratched. So we're gonna do cross pattern now. Getting very loose, just totally scratched. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed. I know it's not like sapphire or anything, but it did pretty well on the other test. I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to scratch so easily. Not too bad that I can't... Oh, that looks pretty bad. Never mind. I'm just going to stop talking, and then we're going to do right on this corner, just kind of a stronger test with a lot of pressure. And that, of course, went straight in there. So, I don't like putting my opinions on here, what I expect, what I don't expect. Maybe I'll have an idea of how it'll do, but I kind of just let the tests speak for themselves. I just put it through it, and it's really for y'all. Every company says it can handle X, Y, and Z, normally when it comes to its water resistance. But this is really just for y'all to see, and I think it's pretty interesting to see how far these watches can go. But that is the scratch test. And we can also do the back, actually, now that I'm here. Again, light. Doesn't seem like there'd be much of a scratch. And then if we really... Oh, I think we just kind of erased the text. You can see there's some scratches there, but it hides it a lot better than obviously the top. Okay, now it's the last test, which is the water pressure test. Now, this watch only says water resistant. It doesn't have specific meters that it can handle. And I've explained how this little machine thing works. Basically, I'm just going to be adding pressure into this chamber, and it's going to simulate meters of water. Right now, there's no screw down crown, and it's still ticking. So let's see if we could do this. Okay, that is 10 meters. 10 meters, and I think water has entered the watch. Water resistant really just means splash. It doesn't mean you can go swimming with it. And 10 meters is about 30 feet. So if you're swimming with this, most likely you're not going to reach that kind of depth. And there you go, with the water inside. This one, honestly, out of all the watches that I've tested, this one broke my heart. I really did like this one. I may still end up buying another one just for myself, but I mean, you could see the water in there. Ultimately, it did pretty well, and then at the end, it stayed true to its water resistant level. I did have hope, because we've seen in the past that when a watch is marketed for, 30 meters, it can go all the way to 50 to almost 60 meters, no problem. But I suppose when it's marketed as water resistant, it's really just saying it can't handle any water. The most realistic part of the test was the drop test, straight on concrete, and yeah, the cap came off. Actually, I'm curious if we can see any water in there. There we go. Yep, and then there's all the water. Besides it, popping up that battery cap, it honestly did pretty well. I had a slight scratch. Didn't really scratch the back. Nothing really chipped or fell off. We hit it on the crown, and the crown looks pretty good. So I was actually pretty impressed with that. It held up with the dirt test. Again, this is not waterproof at all, but with all that mud and dirt kind of in there, it didn't really jam up any of the buttons or the crown. It kept ticking, kept going. Band on that is awesome. Yeah, the spring bars, to be expected, they're gonna snap off. But that nylon, it actually washed off pretty easily with the Velcro. Let me bring it out, actually. Washed out pretty easily. I mean, it's still a little bit dirty, but I bet if I scrub this real good, it would probably come off. And the Velcro still works. I mean, it's not as secure, but it's still sticking. Again, if I can get most of that mud out, it'll probably be a lot better. Overall, it's a pretty good band. The only thing that really got it was the water test in the end. And I was just surprised, because I thought it was going to at least make 10 meters. That's definitely a learning experience for me. And we'll see, in the future, if we get another water resistant watch, we'll test it again. But this was a pretty fun video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions on how I can make these tests better, leave a comment below. Again, I really enjoy making these videos. Hope you all enjoy watching them. So until next time, stay safe out there.